How do we know how many people are on right
We'll
now?
show it here. Okay, 2 people are watching. Okay, so are you ready? I'm gonna go to you in a second.
Is it 6 o'clock?
Yeah. Ready? I'm gonna 5, 4, 3. I'm not gonna say 2 and 1. 5, 4, 3.
Hello to the hair nerds out there. My name is Kevin Thurston, and we're here in the lovely Hamptons, New York, at Vivienne Mackinder's private studio. And we have some real treats in store for you today. I know any of you that are watching right now on the hair nerds, if you are on the hair nerds and you're following the hair nerds, you're interested in seeing some really fabulous hair. And why not see the fabulous hair from a 7-time NAHA winner, Vivienne Mackinder? So what you're going to get today is you're going to get a demonstration of one of Vivienne's winning looks at NAHA. You're going to get some tips on what to do, how to enter, what not to do, Vivienne's triumphs and pitfalls along the way. Vivienne's also going to be taking your questions. So what I really encourage from you guys is to write in your questions to me, and I'll be feeding those to Vivienne, and she'll answer them in real time. I'm sure a lot of you out there have questions for her, and let's get going. So another thing we really want you to do, you can do it right now and throughout the broadcast, is to like and share, because there's friends of yours, there's other salon team members who definitely are interested in what we're going to be showing you today. We're going to be showing you technique and some beautiful, beautiful images, and we have some surprises for you too as well. So let's go and take a look at where Vivienne is hiding right now.
Welcome to my hair vault. Not many people come inside here. We're going on a journey to discover how you can create a beautiful collection for NAHA. So come on into my hair vault. So this is where I store everything, every hairpiece that I've used for a fashion show, for NAHA. It's all stored here. So I have it all categorized, my blonde wigs, my blonde hairpieces, everything is here. And you know, when you look at them fresh out of the box, this was actually really quite pretty at one time. It looks like a roadkill, doesn't it? Really sad. And then of course I've got my hairy balls. No girl should be without her hairy balls. So these have been actually one of my last collections. Yes. Here we have my hair hat, which looks really sad, doesn't it? Looks really, really sad. Oh, and this is the one that's nominated for NAHA. Look at this. Roadkill. It's very psychedelic, and this was one of the hardest things I did, and if you asked me to do it again, I probably couldn't. So that was really difficult. Do you know this was about 5 days in colouring? Every colour in the Joico colour intensity line is in here. This one, I used this in Africa, in North Africa, in the desert, and this is about 20 years old. It was the first time we did like hand painting, and it's got some pad inside. That looks like a really bad roadkill as well. And then over here, this is fun. We did a dress that absolutely matched this. And my fabulous friend Danilo and I did this show together in New York, and it's pretty cool, isn't it? It did look nice, believe it or not. So I know that these are all looking like hats. It must be that I'm inspired by a lampshade. Oh, and my husband's also making kombucha. Do you like kombucha? It's really good, actually. So that's kombucha. And then we've got another strange creation over here. This one was a nightmare to make, but this also is a piece. So this is where I store everything. I have all my widgets here, and things that I use for making shapes. So are you ready now to go into the studio and see a recreation of one of these looks? You are? Okay, let's go then. Hello my friends, and welcome. I'm Vivienne Mackinder, and hello to each and all of you at the Hair Nerds. I have to confess, I'm a hair nerd, and it's pretty cool being one, isn't it? So do share with your friends that you're here right now, and give us some likes and some thumbs up, and we have a wonderful show for you. I'm going to take you on a journey of showing you how I created one of the looks that won at NAHA, And I'm also going to take you through how I create many of the other looks. So whether you're interested in doing a photographic collection for a competition, or you just want to increase the creativity to your brand, this show is for you. If you want to also learn more about what goes on to create a beautiful picture that is a collection versus a post that you put on Instagram with your phone, then this is the show for you. I also want to reconnect to you, the artist. What is it that inspires you? And at the end of the show, I'll go over some really important logistics, and I'll talk to you from two perspectives. One as someone who's entered, that I have won, I have not won. And also, I'm going to talk to you from the perspective as a judge. And I think all of these things will give you some really good information. So are you ready? So don't forget to share with your friends as we go on this journey. So you saw this in my hair vault. Did you like my hair vault? I don't take many people in there. So this piece here, and we're going to show the little image of the final hairstyle. This is what is this? It's a fall. And I really love this piece because you can see here, this is the foundation. And what I actually did was I razor cut this, and I then added some beautiful vibrant blue, and this blue is from the Joico Color Intensities line, and it looks really ridiculous right now, doesn't it? It looks like, I don't know, it does look like a roadkill for sure, but it's what's important about when you work with a hair piece and you're adding to the model's own hair is that when it sits on the model's own hair, it should look as though it's part of the look. And if we go back to that shot again, you'll see there's lots of airiness there, and it gives you some wonderful drama. So this allowed me to work with an amazing model. The photography is by Roberto Lagresti, and the makeup is David Maderich, two incredible, talented people. So this allows you to actually be really creative on an amazing face. So that's the first look. First one gone. Second one. Can you believe this? It is beyond ridiculous. So this I remember at the time, I was working with Danilo, we were working on this, and it was the first time I'd ever seen printed hair, and this is 20 years old. And I don't throw anything away, I keep it because I can always reuse hair. And when you look at the amount of hair that I have here, this is a lot of hair, and it's expensive. So I like to keep things because I can go back to something like this, rip it apart, and then recreate something else. You know, I could easily go back into this and put some primary colors on this, and I would have a totally different look. So I never throw anything away, but I created a foundation, and in this case, it's a 3/4 wig. And I love the 3/4 because they have combs and it helps you lock them into place. And there's a hair pad, and we're going to be working with a hair pad today, and I put the hair pad all the way through these wefts. And usually when I glue, I use a glue gun, and that seems to work quite well. And I still do have all my fingers. I burnt lots of them. I love that feeling. I feel free. What's the next one? All right, this one here. Let's bring our beautiful Slade up onto the set. Slade lives and works in New York. And thank you for being with me again today.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. He's got a wicked motorcycle outside. If I wasn't a county custard, I'd go on it. I ride horses, but I don't do bikes. Anyway, this one here, I just needed a model.
All right.
Oh, I got a tag. That is so genius on you. That is totally genius. I love it. Anyway, this little creation here. Guess how long it took to make? Is anyone questioning how long did this take?
I'm questioning how long it took.
It took a while. This took days and days, and my beautiful team member, Rosemary, worked on it with me, and it took about 5 days to make this. This one I'm not throwing, right? This one's staying right there. So anyway, let's take a look at the images of that, because you can see that what I did was I twisted the hair. I twisted the hair and I created dreadlocks. And then I twisted it sufficiently that as I twisted it, it then started to curl in amongst itself. And that's how I created that effect. And this is just a beautiful dress by Dolce & Gabbana, and just a beautiful, beautiful image, but again by Roberto Lagresti, amazing photographer. And so you see it has a lot of emotion and a lot of drama. And to me, everything should complete and nothing should compete. So it just is a very cohesive story. So are you ready to see how I create my looks? I'm going to show you the mood board first of all, and then I'm going to recreate one of the looks. So the first thing is a mood board puts you, the photographer, the makeup artist, the fashion stylist, all on the same page. It influences the type of model you're going to cast. And this mood board here, you can see, is very inspired by Samurai Warriors. I love the sleekness of the hair. I love the cool ponytail that you see. I just think it's really very, very interesting. So from here, let's move to my next image. This looks totally ridiculous, doesn't it? Really ridiculous. But I put this wig, and it was an old wig, on the mannequin head, intentionally upside down. I thought, well, I don't like it right way up, so let's see what it looks like inside out. And as I looked at it inside out, I thought, there's an idea there. And this is how it turned out. So now when we look at the actual fashion story, and this was one of the award-winning shots that won for NAHA. So let's go to the next one. You can see it becomes a really dramatic image. Very, very powerful, extremely difficult to do. So the technique I'm going to show you today is kind of similar in how I built the volume. Now, what's really important when you're designing is giving yourself time to dwell. You see, we look at objects around us all the time. And many of the times we're moving so fast in our lives, nothing really registers. And when you stop and really look at something and you dwell upon it and you ask what if, and you act curiously like a child, that's when you allow all of your senses to become alive. You know, your intuition, your heart, your rational mind. You start to think about, well, what can I do with that? And it's in that what if, which is a very fragile time, that you come up with an amazing idea. Well, hopefully you do. So I'm now going to show you how I created one of the looks. So we're actually going to bring up the image that I'm going to recreate for you, and I'm going to use it as a reference because it's really, first of all, difficult to come up with an idea. It's really difficult to come up with a beautiful idea. It's even harder to come up with a collection because every shot must be as strong as each other. And it's really hard to recreate it. So this is the shot that I'm going to recreate for you today. And so let's have a go. So is there a way that we could have that little image in the bottom of the screen, Nathaniel, so that we could see her so I can have a reference? Oh, that one there, I'm going to look at it there. Okay, great. So I have already sectioned the hair off, and actually it would be really lovely if we could just go back to the photograph for a second, if you don't mind. So you can see the hair is sleek, I have the volume, I have texture, and I have some lovely panels in the front. The inspiration for this story was the Japanese samurai warriors. And after I've done this, I'm going to show you the full collection. Then I'm going to show you some more beautiful images. And then I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks that we have put aside here. And at the very, very end, I'm going to share with you some of the do's and don'ts for NAHA and some of the really important logistics. So let's talk about this because the sectioning is all very, very important. So here you can see I have the hair, and I love this sectioning, and this is what makes it look very Asian to me. And you can use this sectioning when you're doing ponytails because you know ponytails are really on trend right now. So you can have this nice panel through here. These pieces here you can leave out, and then this part here can be your ponytail. And you can see here she's got a nice V. So it's really nice sectioning, and it's very, very useful for many, many hairstyles. So just remember that. So we've got this here. So I did gel the hair down with some Joico gel, which was the firmer gel. So this is a a much, much stronger gel that you can work with. It's a strong styling gel. So that was sleek back with this product. And of course, I want to say a big hi out there to all my friends at Joico. And hi. And this is a hair pad. So we have one hair pad. We're going to do a second hair pad. I'm then going to razor cut the front, and then I'm going to start building on the top. So let's start off with making our hair pad first, actually. So let's see. I'm going to need quite a lot of volume through here. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to actually use the whole thing. So I'm going to move this over so you can see. And Kevin, are there any questions from my friends?
We do have a few questions, and one of them is about budget. We are getting a lot of those about concerns about money and how much it would take to enter one of these competitions.
Yes, that's a really great question. And I am going to, at the end of the show, go over a lot of the logistics. But regarding budget, it's going to depend on the category that you choose, because you're required to use everything from 3 models to 5 models. And in 1 or 2 categories, you're allowed to use 1 model and do 3 looks. So the category you choose is going to eat up your model budget very quickly. You have obviously got to put money aside for a professional photographer, a professional makeup artist who is totally used to doing makeup for photography versus everyday looks, a fashion stylist so that your model is wearing either, you know, fabulous clothes because it's the total look. So we will go into more nitty-gritty about the budget towards the end of the show. But yes, budget is a huge thing. And one of the things I always say, if you're going to enter NAHA for the first time, try the team category, because that way there's a whole group of you entering, and you can then spread the wealth in terms of, you know, it can be more of an investment with 5 people involved. So that can be a really good thing. So this is synthetic crinkly hair. And you can see I'm using a dog brush. This would be really good to use on my horse's tail. I may take this away. But it's actually a wig brush, and it's wire. And they have now smoothing brushes like this. What do you call it? Wet brushes, don't they? Mm-hmm. So you can use your wet brush, right? So we're just going to now get this lovely, lovely texture here. And the backcombing method is actually called cotton candy. And I go away from myself and I lift. And in the lifting, I create volume and expansion. If I just go up and down like that, I make it tight. And what I want to do is lift and open and lift and open. And this is actually a classic backcombing technique. I use 5 backcombing techniques, and that's just one of them. So here we're going to now use a hairnet. We're going to close this over, and there we have her. That's a B cup today.
Just a B.
It's a B cup. It's not a double D. It's a B, definitely. All right, so now let's bring our little girl back. She'd walk, but her legs are still in China. All right, one flying saucer. Do you know what, last night I think I saw a spaceship? I think I did. Either that or I had way too much hairspray.
We're going to go with the spaceship.
I did. It must be all it must be all these stupid hairstyles I'm showing you. All right, so we're now going to position the hair pad. We already have one in place. Now we have our second one here. So once we have this beautiful shape, I pin it first for security, and then, do we have the black ones? I'm just going to lock this in and lock that in. And I'm using here some Japanese hairpins because I'm doing a Japanese hairstyle. No, I'm using Japanese pins because they're fantastic. They're open and they're serrated. So when you have a client who is tender-headed, a hair pad's a great way to go. And these are really very light. Actually, that ponytail, what do they cost? They cost about $2, do you think? About $2? So they're really very inexpensive, and you can get lots of pads out of them. Now, one of the things that I have learned about dress work, and obviously dress work is just one of the categories of NAHA. I've entered cutting as well, but we're focusing on dress work here, is that it teaches me shape, balance and proportion in a bigger way, but also it teaches me the importance of how I pin. So with this pin here, I know that unless I get this nice and secure, it's not going to work. So I can actually sew my pin into the hair like this, and then I can shape it. And the sewing method that I use for a lot of my dress work came from working with hair pieces. So it's pretty cool. So there we have now our frame. So now what we're going to do is actually razor cut here and get this shape beautiful. Then I'm going to put the hair onto here. So this is just our base. So I'm just going to wet the hair down. And Kevin, I think you've got some questions, haven't you?
We do. We had a great question earlier from Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Dan's quack, Dan.
Hi, Dan. Are you cute, Dan? Come up and see me, Dan.
So Dan wanted to know about what does the conversation look like with your model, your live model, as with regard to her time commitment?
What in regards to what?
To her time commitment for the show. Do you need to use the same model on the pictures as you do at the show?
You mean when I'm doing the photo shoot?
Right. Will she need to commit to also being at NAHA?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. When you're booking your model for this, you're booking her for a day. And, maybe in some cases you would have to, I'm okay, this is good actually. I'm going to have you hold this section though for me. Thanks so much, sweetheart. When you're booking your model, obviously the color category is your most time consuming. And when you're working with a color model, you may have to have her come twice, 2 days. So that is much more of a commitment. So the model will be there for the day that she's booked for the shoot, and she'll be possibly booked for a day prep if that's necessary. Let me talk to you about this. I'm working with my razor. This is a cutthroat razor. Notice how I'm holding it. I'm going to go in very light and very gracefully. On my website, at Hair Designer TV, I have a lot of information on the art of razor cutting. So you're just going to get a taste in facial framing. So here, as I come through here, this is very, 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 very soft. And I glide down so that I create this nice soft effect. And I'm going to continue over-directing the hair forwards. And again, super, super soft. And looking at how that's falling through there. And giving it time to settle. Over here, I'm going to over-direct, making all of this come forwards. And this is actually quite a nice thing to do for a lady who wants to have a ponytail, but she wants facial framing while she has a ponytail. And ponytails are so on trend right now, it kind of gives a new twist to a pony, doesn't it? Like that idea, do you? I do. Do you like that idea? Yeah, I do. It's a brilliant idea. I talk, but they didn't give me a mouth that moves. Right, so now we've got that lovely softness, okay? So now I'm going to come over here, and I'm now going to over-direct this backwards. Coming back this way, and now I'm going to come through soft, 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 very, very soft. Now I want to give a big shout out to my friends at Douglas J, the incredible students who are going through their cosmetology program, to the amazing stylists in Douglas J. And I have to tell you, what an incredible company. They've been with me on Hair Designer TV now for quite a few years. And the quality of the work that this company does and the talented stylists is so awesome. So I'm sending you guys love, lots and lots and lots of love. So here, this is a butter knife technique. It takes away the bulk. It's like liposuction for the hair. I should apply it to my bum. You see how it makes it nice and light? It should. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? See how light that is now? That's really super, super light. Can you see the difference? Soft and light. So now I'm going to just bring this back again. So I've created a shape. I'm now reducing the weight. And if you were doing scissors, of course you could do it with scissors, but you'd have to do so much work. And let's face it, folks, when you're as old as me, you don't have that much more time left. So you can't do 20 techniques. You just don't have time for them. Does that make sense? It does. Okay. I'm going to do the same on the other side, and Kevin has a question.
So we've got a technical question from Anne. With wigs, with regard to wig work
Yes.
and synthetic hair,
Yes.
do you recommend using a razor or her shears?
I'm having a problem. I'm having a problem. She won't stay still. What's up with you, woman? Hold on. Something's happening with her. Hold on. I need to do a chiropractic twist. Oh, there we go. That's good. Anne, I'm sorry. You were asking a really important question, but she was just like doing this with me. You know, this is the way you move your client, by the nose. What was the question again from Anne?
So it was to do with wigs and fake hair pieces.
Yes.
Is it easier for them to use a razor or shears on them?
I would say almost truthfully, 100% of the time I will use a razor. Because when in my head of hair and in your head of hair, you've got hair that is a day old and months old and years old. So within one area of the head, not all of that hair is all one level. So when you get a wig or a hairpiece, you need to create sort of an aged effect so that the hair has maturity, so that it's not all hanging to the same level. So if you razor the hair, you get this more soft, realistic effect, which is closer to how it would be in a natural situation if it was growing out of your head. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, Anne, that was a really good question. So, Anne, don't forget to send to your friends right now that you're watching and get other people to join us. Is that good? Right, so I'm doing the other side, okay? And my question is, do I want to make it the same? And the other question is, can I make it the same? So look, when I come forward here and I bring my hand forward like this, and then I bring my hand forward like this, I can then monitor as to, do I have the same degree of over direction as I'm going through here? So obviously this side is heavier. So I'm going to swing it forward. And to be honest, I don't even remember if I did both sides the same on my model. So we're just going to razor through. And the razor motion I'm taking is a very, very long stroke. And I call this etching. So in my razor, thank you so much. In my razor work, I have 7 different methods that I use. So in the razor, and Anne was asking, about razoring wigs and hair pieces, I sometimes do precision and sometimes I do abstract. But the goal, even if I'm razor cutting, is to be able to be efficient. I want to cut once. I don't want to cut a haircut and then spend ages detailing and doing a second haircut. So you can see here, I've already got that softness that's coming through. And now I'm going to over direct backwards. So I'm going to come through here and I'm going to now over direct backwards. Yes.
So we have a question from Dallin, and it says, what are your thoughts about editing your final images? Do you think keep it plain or add some? I think she's really talking about a danger of over-editing, and is there a point where you're over-editing?
So that was from?
Dallin.
Dallin. Hi, Dallin. And I'm presuming when you're saying editing as in retouching, is that what she's meaning?
That is what she's meaning.
You've got to be very careful.
Should she add something special?
No, try and get what you're looking for in the set, on the shoot. Don't rely on retouching. And the rules very clearly say that the hair should not be retouched. Makeup can be retouched, skin can be retouched, but you really don't want to over retouch because you want to get it right on the day. And that shows your artistry. So don't rely on Photoshop.
Great question, Dallin. We have another question regarding, as a salon owner, how do you support your team entering NAHA?
So the question is, as a salon owner, how do you have your team support? How do you support your team? Well, first of all, you've got to present the idea and ask them, are they interested? Because there's no point in presenting an idea to somebody if they're not interested in it, correct? and talk about the features and the benefits of the team working together, the team working on a collection, what you can do post the photo shoot and post NAHA with your story. And I think that's also very, very, very important. So, you know, I think it's exciting to collaborate. I think it's exciting to be creative and to have a team all working together. And especially if you get the salon involved and you get them excited about, where's my piece? Here's one. Oh, is this it? And where's the other one? There's two. Come on, darling, up you go. Come along. So guys, don't forget to put, to say you like me and you want to share me or something like that. I don't know what you guys do, but I think you have to say that you love me. Sort of a little bit.
Everybody to like and share this, especially for your friends who aren't on right now.
That one was the top.
This is the bottom. That's the top. Yeah, this one I'm going to put on the top.
We've got a question from Sarah.
This one I'm putting here. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so look, hold on, before we go any further, Sarah, darling.
Sarah wants to know if you have any upcoming workshops.
Oh, yes, I do have upcoming workshops, but hold on, Sarah. We should see what this looks like on you. You see, this is where you get creative, right?
Oh, I like it.
See?
What you guys doing, man?
You're such a good model. You're such a good model. I think that's, wouldn't that be genius to walk through New York like that?
This is my new deal.
Give me a spin.
All right. You like that?
Now let's see this way.
Well, I don't know about this one. I'm going to look too serious. I feel like I sell furniture or something. This is a great new couch for you.
He looks like a car salesman, doesn't he?
Oh.
So, Sarah, this is a wig, all right? This is a wig, and this wig now is going to sit here. So I did razor cut this wig, and it's got lots of lovely texture, which is nice, isn't it? And so now I'm going to put it on, I believe, upside down. Let me see. I put it on right way up before, and I wasn't so crazy about it, but let me try it this way and see. So this is where this way's good. This is where now the placement and the pinning is really, really important. So I'm going to come through here, and I'm just going to have Slade hold that side. And I'm going to use my monitor, which I'm using as a mirror, and I must make sure that the position of this is really beautiful, because, you know, there's a fine line between creativity and it not working. There's a fine line between creativity and bad taste. So sometimes we get so close to our work that we lose the perspective of what we're doing, which is kind of scary, huh? So, sometimes what you need when the pin doesn't work is a 4-inch nail. Anything works, you know. Okay, so now I'm pinning into the hair pad. And I'm pinning into me. So I've got to stop now and look at the shape and look at the balance, and I want all of this beautiful texture. What's that? Oh, something came out. And just make sure this is secure, because it would be really awful if this slipped. Actually, I went to a party, and I went as the Supremes, and I had one of these big bubbled wigs, and it was black with like a nice bob line. And it was just this big, fabulous thing. And I was so excited to be a Supreme for the night. Remember the Motown, the Supremes? And so as a ginger girl going with this dark hair, I thought no one's going to recognize me. And people still did recognize me, which was quite disturbing. Anyway, I'm wearing this wig and I'm sitting at the table. And someone says something funny and I go, like that, right? And it flies off my head. And because it's a big bubbled ball like this, it rolls. And there I am with a wig cap on, sitting at this table, and everyone's laughing at me. And all of a sudden I have no hair because it's rolled away. So I had to go and get it and stick it back on. So you don't want to pin this in a weak way. You've got to have good pinning techniques to secure it. I'm taking way too long here, I think. Sorry.
Got a great question for Alyssa.
Yes.
Alyssa would like to know, when you are physically shooting to find your perfect shot for NAHA, do you find that you get it towards the beginning, middle, or end of the shoot? Do you ever find that?
Oh.
time when you nailed that?
The question that is being asked by Alyssa. Is when do you know that when you've got your shot? Sometimes it takes a while for a model to warm up. Oh, this is another wig, actually. This one's an expensive wig because look, this is all hand knotted. So it's very fine, it's very delicate. So I've got to be very, very mindful here of how I pin this. The other one was wefted, so it was a cheaper wig. And wigs come in all shapes and sizes and price. You can pay anything from $80 for a wig to $1,000 for a wig. So this is really, really important. I'm just going to stick this on and I'm going to talk to you about when you know you've got the shot. This is not the shot right now, and it looks nothing like my picture. So hold on a moment. I've got to bring this back. So, okay, so this has got to sit back a moment, right? This has got to sit there, and then this has got to come back here, because it's got to sit further back, because my shape is off the face versus sticking up like that. That would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? And this is, you know, you're talking about when you've got the shot or not. So say I did this and I photographed it. I go, oh, that's a little bit weird. Then I would go, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then I would go, oh, that's really, really interesting. Then I go, okay, well, it's got caught. Is that more interesting? No, that looks stupid. So there's sometimes a real fine line between it looking stupid and brilliant too, you know? And sometimes it's about just repositioning something so you get that wonderful magic. So that I think is going to work, and we're going to pin this. So when your model's on set and you take some shots, you have to be able to step back and look at the big picture. And this is where your team becomes very, very important to you, because they are able to give you feedback. I promise you, there have been times on set where my fashion stylist has just said to me, that looks awful. That doesn't work. I've also been on set where the photographer said to me, that's just not working. What I always say to anyone I'm working with is, please give me feedback, please critique, please tell me if it's working, because I want to produce my best work I've ever produced. And if you don't give me feedback, how am I going to know? So don't just say, oh, that's lovely, when it's not. So I think your team's feedback is critically important. You're going to look at a variation of the different shots that are coming through, because today you can look at them on a screen and you can see the balance and the perspective. So that's really huge. So you just know when it's right. And then as you're going through, have the courage to play around. And when you've got the shot, sometimes if there's time, play around with it. But I believe if you can rehearse on a mannequin head the way we are right now, I'm practicing an idea, then when you take this on set, you've already rehearsed this and you already know the silhouette. And I do think there's power in drawing your shape. Real power in that.
Vivienne, what do you say to the artists who are new and out of school and they want to enter NAHA but they don't have the experience? What do you say to the kids that are just getting going and they want to start into a competition like NAHA?
So the question is, what advice would I give to young students who are wanting to get into doing their own photographic work, whether it's for NAHA or for something else? Just by the way, I'm just using one can of hairspray. Just one. This is Joico's Flip and Turn, okay? So start from the very beginning. I mean, the first thing you need to do is photograph your work every single day. And the genius of the world we live in today is we have a phone. We don't really use the phone other than for messaging and taking pictures. So you can train your eye to see shape and to see balance and proportion just by doing your own photo journaling. And one of the things that I always do in my workshops and at Hair Designer TV is we're always photo journaling our work to make sure that we understand shape, balance, and proportion. Now, when you do that, it trains your eye for seeing shape, because you're understanding shape from the camera's perspective. So now we've got a really nice texture through here, haven't we? So now I'm going to just kind of bring this around and through, and we're going to then put in the next piece, which is the red piece, which is going to come in. And I think while what we'll do is we'll just take the blow dryer and just skinny this down. Are there any other questions?
We do have a great question. How do you get your, if somebody has just a ton of ideas about something and they're kind of scattered, what's a great way for them to bring everything together?
Okay, so the question was, and who's that question from?
That question is from Mary. We got that earlier.
Okay, so Mary, thank you for the question. Oh, Marie, thank you for the question. So when you have tons of ideas, which I relate to, you've got to narrow it down. And I'm going to show you at the end of this show mood boards. And mood boards are where you gather and harvest ideas and you put the story out. And some ideas don't belong on a mood board. They may belong on a different mood board. So please stay with us for the duration of the show and I will show you exactly what I mean. This particular hairstyle has a story actually, and when you see the video, which we're going to run in a few minutes, and then when I come back after the video, I'll tell you more. This particular look that I'm doing, I was working with a very top fashion stylist who works for Vogue, Harper's Bazaar. She works for all these different major magazines. When she saw this hairstyle, she said, it doesn't work. And I said, I'd really like to shoot it. And she said, no, it doesn't work. And Nathaniel, can we just go back to that shot for a moment? Because this is what we're recreating for you right now. So she said this didn't work. And I said, I think it can work for the story. She said, it doesn't fit the rest of the story. And so we kind of had a little bit of a tug of war. And I said, please just give me a chance. If we can't use it, then fine. And we shot 9 images on that one day. And I just had a really strong feeling about it. And I do highly respect my team and I highly respect fashion stylists because they look at the big picture where we can look at the detail. And she had her opinion and I went for it. And I'm really, in this particular case, glad I listened to my intuition. So let's now just show you this. This is a weft of hair. Actually, it looks really nice with my outfit, doesn't it? Could I wear something like that? So what we're going to do is twist it. And Nathaniel, can you just show this a little bit further away? So you can see how as I twist it, it's now starting to wrap around like this. So I've created sort of an interesting braid. So now I'm going to bring this onto here and I'm going to bring it around. And now I've got to secure this. And that's the fun part. So I've got to get this piece here. And you know, when you're pinning, you always pin where you're holding. This is where a staple gun would really work. Come on, darling, stick your head down. I'm just going to twist this around. Okay, here we go. Do I have both sides? Yes, I do. Right, so I'm going to just twist this and then pin it.
We have a question from Curtis.
Hi, Curtis.
Do you find categories more competitive than others?
I think avant-garde is a pretty competitive category. Which other category do I think? Color is very competitive. Yes, I would say those two are probably the most. And I think the challenge with avant-garde is not looking like typical avant-garde work because it can sometimes feel very dated. And I think avant-garde, you know, it can be a tricky one as well. How do you make avant-garde appear new? So there are my soft pieces. So now, you know what I'd like is a pomade or a sort of a wax of some kind just to stick through there. I think there's some Joico goo in the back. So now you can see we're just going to bring her body because she does look better with a body. And we're just going to do the finishing touches. And could you please help me? And yeah, and guys, don't forget to like and share what you're seeing because we're now going to go on to something else, right? Which is pretty exciting. So, thank you, Kevin.
Material.
I used to work with a ventriloquist. Hello, darling. How you doing? All right. So let's just see. So we need to look at it from a bigger perspective. So now we've got these soft pieces. So, you know, in the photograph, there were pieces tucked. Thank you, my love. I'm just going to use some paste from Joico, some matte and grip, just to kind of give this a little bit more texture. And I'm going to do the same with this side here. Just bring this back in just a few pieces. Hard to tuck the hair behind the ears on a dolly head. Have you ever found that? How difficult that is? Really tricky, huh? So I'm just going to tuck that, just a few pieces, and just slime her down. There we go. And this headband wasn't as prominent as it is right now, so I'm going to hide it a little tiny bit. You see how that looks stupid, I think. So I've just got to kind of like bury it a little tiny bit so it's less overt. So I'm just going to hide it with some pins. So we had a question before about how do you know when you've got the shot? Maybe I would take her on set and try it like this. And then I would start to play around with it a little tiny bit and go, okay, how can I reduce that and make it a little less obvious so it's more expensive looking? Less is often more. That's a huge thing. So some of this coming over here makes this become less prominent. Does that make sense? Is that working? Yeah? Yes. Making it less. So, you know, I've got Slade here, and his opinion's important to me. He's a fine artist. So his perspective from observing this gives me a little different reality. And, you know, obviously on the day when I shot this, it is very, very hard for me to recreate something that I did a few years ago. In fact, it's very hard for me to recreate anything. So anyway, that's kind of the idea. And that's how we photographed this lovely young girl. So you can see that as we're coming through here, I just have to refine the shape. Up she goes. So I'm trying to match the angle that I see on the screen. And now I'm just going to dent her a little tiny bit in here. So in summary, we had a very interesting gelled sectioning. We have 2 hair pads. We have 2 wigs. They were both razor cut. We have a weft of hair. We have razor cutting around the face so that we can create this really kind of cool effect. And that's our little girl. I hope you enjoyed that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to now look at the whole collection. And when I come back in 1 minute, I will show you some more really cool things. So don't go away. And remember, do share and like with your friends. Video. Welcome back. So that was the collection. So remember you saw something that was very gelled and very architectural in there, some beautiful sculptured pieces. Well, this is how we work them around here. And our beautiful Slade gelled them. So balloons are really, really good for creating gorgeous shapes. And then I don't like this part. I really don't like this part. Pins. I hate, no, I don't want to hold it.
You don't
No,
hold
I don't, look how weird this is.
All right.
You guys didn't do a very big job. This has an apparatus. Where's the pump? Oh, it's on the table. This comes with a pump. You can pump your balloons. Because they were trying to blow these balloons up. I thought they were going to pass out. And then there's Kevin pumping away like you were milking a cow. Sorry. Anyway, no, I don't want to. You do it.
I got it.
Yeah,
Ready?
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, drum roll, please.
Da, 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 da.
Oh! As I drop the whole thing. Okay. Which is going to be the best way?
I don't know. Maybe cut it out. Oh,
We got some stickiness
We got.
in
Yeah,
there.
it's not quite dry.
No, it's not.
Okay, well that's okay. Then that's premature release. So there is one gelled piece, right? And it's architectural. This one, we only did them this afternoon, so no, I don't want to do it. Here you go.
I don't want to do it.
There you go, there you go. So there's another little shape. So you can see that you can create beautiful things. And because that collection was based on samurai, I wanted to have very strong pieces. So, it's just very simple. So you can gel around a form, and then you have to get the form off the gelled hair without it separating. So you need a really strong gel, and then you can do that. So it's pretty good. So thank you for doing that. Was that helpful? Good. Next trick. So I just wanted to show you with the hair pads. So you saw them being used in an avant-garde way. So I just want to show you in some photographs how I've used them commercially for everyday looks. So when you are doing something where you're wanting a ponytail and you want to create volume and you don't want to backcomb the client's hair, these images I'm going to show you now are a really good example. So this one here was at Milan Breton's fashion show in New York Fashion Week. And there's a really good example of a lovely ponytail with a bouffant. This next image here is a bridal collection, which you can see on Hair Designer TV. And it is in my editorial course. And this particular lady was very sensitive. And therefore, I created hair pads in both of these hairstyles. And that made the work so much easier. And then in the next images, you can see too, hair pads were used. I did not backcomb her hair. And it just makes for a great look, a great shape, and it's wonderful when a client doesn't have fullness. So that's how you can commercially use them. And let's go back to the shot that I actually showed you today in terms of the creation, and that is using it in a more avant-garde way. So hair pads are fantastic to play with, very inexpensive, very easy to do, and it's like all things, it's learning technique, and then learning good execution. And it's also really important where you learn, because we have so many choices today to learn, but I promise you, when you learn from someone who's mastered the craft, whoever that may be, it's very important to take the information that they share with you, study, 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 and then make it your own. So having said that, for any of you who are going to be at NAHA this coming weekend in Las Vegas, you can come and visit me at the workshop that we're hosting at my dear friend's salon, Charles Azzi, and we're doing a very intimate private workshop. There are a few tickets left, so if you'd like to come on Sunday before NAHA or on Tuesday after NAHA, we're doing 2 really great workshops. Do check out Vivienne Mackinder or Hair Designer TV, and you'll get more information there. And I'd love to see you. It'd be a whole lot of fun. So I can help and guide you. Another place where you can find us, the genius of the avant-garde world, is the wonderful Nicholas French. Nicholas has won the NAHA many times, and he does masterpieces. His avant-garde work is truly an art form. So Nicholas and I are hosting an event called Skyfall in Palm Springs in August, and there are a few places left. So if you'd like to come and spend 2 days with Nicholas and myself in Skyfall, do check out the information on my website, and we'd love to see you there. And again, with that particular workshop, we're doing a blend of everyday hair and more avant-garde hair. So You know what to do now. Check it out and share that information with your friends. So now let's move back to some interesting storytelling. We're talking about NAHA and we're talking about creating winning collections. So I'm going to take you through a few of my collections and tell you a few of the secrets to what I actually did. So this first image that we're going to bring up, actually the one that's next, this one here, I spent about 2 weeks in my kitchen working with white hair, and I struggled. I really struggled. And on the journey, I almost quit. And I did have a little bit of a temper tantrum because it wasn't working the way I wanted it to work. And so I threw one of the wigs across the kitchen, and as it fell on the ground, I saw something quite interesting, because upside down it looked a whole lot better than right way up. And so I thought, oh, that's something interesting. And I was just about to quit the whole project. I thought it just looked so cheap and horrible. And a little voice inside me said, keep doing the right thing, even though the right thing is not happening. And the voice came back again and it said, keep doing the right thing, even though the right thing is not happening. And I came this close to quitting. And the creative journey tests you every inch of the way. You come up with an idea, you question, is it good enough? It's new to your eye, and you think, I don't know about that. And it's very easy to back off or walk away. And I would say I've failed forward. I've failed on my journey to create collections, and I failed more than I've succeeded. That one went on to win the North American Hairdressing Award, so I'm really glad I didn't quit. This next collection, let's move on to that. Here, this collection was nominated in editorial. The inspiration was the Japanese street trend, and as you can see as we move through these images, beautiful, strong images with lots of bold color, and the inspiration was definitely very edgy and very Japanese. It did not win, but it was nominated, and it was again another wonderful journey as we go through. So let's talk about how I created it. So here you can see this particular image. My husband got a whole bunch of chickens, and they were designer chickens, and I thought, wow, the feathers of this bird are pretty amazing. Wouldn't it be cool to create a look just like the chicken's feathers? So I called the fabulous Sue Pemberton and I said, Sue, can you do this? And she said, well, Viv, that's a bit of a stretch. I said, come on, Sue, you can do it. So she colored the wefts that you can see, and then I turned it into this particular look. And it certainly wasn't easy to do, but very often in creativity, you don't want to see the source of where the idea came from, because the inspiration and the translation of an idea is a really fascinating journey. And it's lovely that you look at that and you don't think cock-a-doodle-doo, you just think, wow, that's a pretty cool piece of art. So that was a collection that did not win NAHA. So let me show you again another look at how it started. So this was an amazing human hair wig from the hair shop. My dear friend Brian and Kathy, they kindly provided me with these amazing wigs. And this is human hair, level 10. I did a razor haircut, and the question from Anne, wasn't it, about the razor? That this is a good example of using the razor. And then we colored it, and again, Sue Pemberton did this beautiful color using primary colors from Joico's Color Intensity line. And this is the end result. And you can see as we now go to see the total fashion look, what a difference. So you can see in the beginning, it's like, ooh, it's not looking very good. But you just got to keep pushing through the, ooh, it's not looking good, until it does look good. So that's important. This particular collection, I decided to go commercial. I was a finalist and I did not win. And this was, I decided, let's just do pretty hair. Let's just do lovely, sexy, glamorous hair that's real. I just sort of wanted something fresh for me. So I enjoyed working on the collection, and believe it or not, this collection has done more for me than the other collections, ironically. So it's very, very cool. So, you know, if you want to learn more about the art of working in a studio, I host workshops. So you can come and see me in New York in November for a workshop where I guide you through all the principles of doing a photo shoot. You do your own photo shoot, and then you'll watch me create my own collection. So you get to see all different perspectives, from pre-casting to mood boards, to the whole thing, and I take you on that journey. So do join me and do check out Hair Designer TV, and you can sign up today for even your free trial. So how about that? So let's talk about NAHA and the beginning. Let's go to the mood boards, because we had someone ask, didn't we?
Yeah, we had somebody ask Vivienne how to focus your ideas. Somebody who has a ton of ideas, how to get them focused.
Yes.
How do you do it?
That was a really great question. Who asked that question? Do we remember?
That was Alyssa.
Alyssa, that was such a good question. Thank you so much for asking it. So let's look at a mood board. This mood board is Barbie. So if you all of a sudden put an image in here that was not Barbie, it would kind of be odd. So if for it to work as a collection, it would have to really be something pretty special to all of a sudden have something that's not Barbie, maybe Ken. That's the only thing I can think of, because the storyline is glamorous Barbie, right? So let's go to another mood board. What do you see when you look at this mood board? You see beautiful autumn colors, you see beautiful makeup, you see incredible lips, and you see much more natural organic hair. So what's the mood board there? If you put Barbie into that mood board, it's not going to work. All of a sudden, the story is no longer the story, because it's not just a photograph. You're telling a story about who that woman is. Let's go to another mood board. Here we've got this sort of French, sort of British Revolution vibe going on. We've got edgy punk, but it's couture punk. It's amazing, strong hair, and look at the incredible background. That is a mood board. So if you all of a sudden put something romantic and ethereal in there, or if you put Barbie in there, it's like, whoa, there's too many elements going on. There's 10 stories being told at the same time instead of one story. So therefore, it's not going to work. It's not going to be effective. The eye can't understand what it's seeing. And let's look at another mood board. Here we have a little bit of retro, we have glamour, we have chic, we have a theme of color, we have a theme of texture, we have a theme of very glamorous and sophisticated. So if we all of a sudden put into here that edgy punk look, whoa, all of a sudden it doesn't make sense. So do opposites work? Yes, they can. Black and white works, right? But very often when the whole story works and there's a synergy around there, then it becomes more cohesive. So the first thing you need to do is create mood boards and start to gather ideas of hairstyles that you like, and then narrow it down to the best of the best, and always have a few backups in the drawer. So let's now go to the next one, and I think we may have some questions, yeah?
We do. We've got a great question. Just in our last question is actually, what does a competition like NAHA mean to our industry?
So the question is, what does NAHA mean to our industry in terms of a competition? It's the importance that you give it. I think it's really wonderful if you can get press around the fact that you won this important award. It does attract some extremely talented salons and hairdressers to it. So therefore, it's a great event. And it's a great way to promote yourself, promote your brand, and to win something and be recognized by your peers is certainly really huge. The fact that we have our beautiful Canadian friends joining us, because it is the North American, it is wonderful, and we see incredible work coming out of Canada. And for any of my friends in Canada, a big hello, and to you, to my friends in Toronto and my friends in Vancouver. I love visiting both places. So yeah, so it's an amazing event. So let's just wrap it up, I think, with some important points, yes? So let's look at some of the important things. We spoke about budget. We spoke about the category, first of all. The category that you choose must speak to you so strongly. And when you choose the category, make sure it's something you're really good at and follow the rules. The next thing is, after you've done that, you've got to put a budget to it. You've got to find your team, you've got to create your mood board, and then you're going to go into your pre-production to create the whole collection. Budget is everything. If you work with amateurs, you could get an amateur story. If you work with professionals, you stand a stronger chance of getting a really strong collection. So once you've done that and you've gone through that whole process, let's go to the next section. When you're looking at your budget, how much you're going to invest in your photographer. I think the photographer is critically important, and I think that it's also so important to get a great professional model. You do have to allow in your budget for retouching and for studio. And I want to just speak about retouching. Retouching is not the hair, but it's retouching other elements, because this is a hair competition and you shouldn't be fixing things that should have been fixed in person. And when you're looking at your budget, you've got obviously your makeup, you've got your fashion, you've got your model, you've got an agency fee possibly, got food and travel. So there's a lot of things to put into it. All of these things are things that I discuss when I'm actually presenting my workshop. So these are things that will really, really help you. And my final point, as a judge, when I've judged NAHA, and I have for many years, and I want to tell you, I don't obviously judge the category that I'm in, this particular collection here is up for the North American Hairdressing Awards this year, and it's by beautiful Ginger Rowland. A beautiful collection, and I believe this was in the dresswork category. As a judge, when I didn't judge this, by the way, but as a judge, when I look at this, there's cohesiveness, there is beauty, there is artistry, there is originality, and there's technical skill. And this is a beautiful collection, and I just wanted to salute Ginger. So I hope today's been helpful. I hope you can take pieces and apply it to your world. I encourage you, if you are a part of a salon team, enter NAHA for the team, because that's a wonderful way to bond together. Even do promotions in the salon. Do something where you can do a raffle. We're on our road to NAHA, and start raffling some prizes and start raising some money to actually fund you to actually do this project. Put signs in your bathroom where the clients are going and say, I'm looking for a photographer, model, la 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 la, and in exchange, we'll give you services in exchange for your services. Be creative about raising the money and get yourself into a studio and just go for it and just do it, and you'll have a whole lot of fun, and it will expand who you are. I want to thank you for watching today. I want to thank Slade. I want to thank Kevin and Nathaniel, who's here, and we'll see you at NAHA. Bye for now.